Namaskar, dear parents, and welcome to the culmination of Doctors E-Camp, a week-long camp which witnessed a host of activities especially designed for our little ones in nursery and prep to give them an insight into the world of medical science. The whole idea behind having this camp was to make our children aware and conscious of their personal health, hygiene, and well-being. And the week turned out to be such a great learning experience for all of them, as we saw them preparing their own first aid medical kit, thanks to your help, of course. And also, we saw that children learned the application of all the items in the kit, and that was phenomenal. Well, moving on, today marks the culmination of this camp. And I am so grateful to have with us a panel of experts who have so very graciously taken out their precious time to be with us today. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Kshitij Bansal, Dr. Santosh Singh, Dr. Shiva Bansal, and Dr. Rupa Dalmia. Our panel will be addressing our young ones today, along with the parents, and they will be sharing with you some tips and guidelines on how you can combat different situations at home. Dear parents, all of us are in lockdown mode. It is not easy for any of us to move out, so we should all be well equipped with the know-how of how to tackle an emergency situation at home. So it's time now to hear straight from the frontliners, the real-time warriors, the superheroes in white, our doctors. I'm sure you will find today's session very interesting and informative. Have a nice time.
Hello parents, I'm Dr. Kshitij Bansal. I'm a pediatric neurologist. I have my own clinic and I'm also associated with Regency Hospital. First of all, I'll thank Shilingite School and its management to give me the opportunity to help you all in these difficult times. I know you cannot go out and see a doctor as frequently as you would want for some minor and major issues even, and I just want to take this opportunity to help you all for some minor problems that you face in a day-to-day life, to help your kids cope better with health issues and other problems if any. And I'll be dealing on a range of topics rather, I'll say, like bleeding, burns, loss of consciousness, and other topics also if you will be interested in taking my opinions. And this will help kids develop a sense of security over their own injuries or something. I'll try that they understand that it's nothing to panic over some minor issues. Also, it will be of immense pleasure to me that I can elevate the anxiety caused to everyone in these difficult times. So I just hope we'll make this an interactive session in future. I'll love to have your suggestions, feedback, and everything to make this session better. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Hello dear students, I'm Dr. Bansal. You can call me Dr. Uncle, and I'm here to discuss some important topics with you and your parents so that they can help you in times of emergency. Now, I saw all of yours wonderful first aid kits that you made and they were fantastic, but do we know how to use them? Use the things we have kept in them? No, I don't think so. So from now onwards, we will learn how to take use of each and everything that we have kept in the first aid box. Let's start with, can you please take out your first aid boxes for me? Thank you. Okay, so let's see what all you have kept in your first aid box. So, what is the first thing that you have it? Please take out. Oh, yes, I think it's Dettol. Okay, so have all of you kept cotton bandages in it? Very nice. Do we have a antiseptic cream? Most of you have, I'm sure. And do we have cotton swab? We have. That's so nice. A thermometer, iodine, and a burn antiseptic. So these are the bare essentials that we need to keep in our first aid box. So let me first discuss what is first aid box. So how many of you know what is a first aid box or when is it used? Please raise your hands. Very nice. A lot of you know. Intelligent people. So let me start with one thing at a time. So first thing that we should know how to treat is one of the most common things, that is a bleed. Bleed is blood coming out from our skin when we hurt ourselves, something gets stuck or we get a cut, like we fall on a fence or any sharp thing. It's very easy, just a few steps, nothing to worry. So first thing that you should do is be brave. Second thing, wash your wound. Washing is very important. Few steps, very easy. Just use clean water or any good quality soap. So antibiotic or antiseptic soap is preferable, but most of us don't have it, so we can use any soap. First we have to pour lots of clean cold water over the cut. It will clean the wound, remove all the mud and dirt, and stop the blood. Cold water stops bleeding. Second, we have to use soap very gently. If it is hurting too much, nothing to worry, just pour some soap, flow some water over it, and voila, it's done. Then after that, just put some antiseptic cream over it and tie a tight bandage. Bandage should not be very tight, and just few steps and you are good to play again. So repeat with me 4 steps. Be brave, clean, wash, antiseptic. Done. Thank you. And now we have an exercise. So I'll show you a cut. Don't worry, I made it with a sketch pen. You can all make it on your hand too, and show me what will you do with it if you get a cut like this. Take a red sketch pen, make a mark on your skin, and let me see. Make a video and upload and show me what to do, what steps to follow, and I'll tell you how good you are. Let's go.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well in this lockdown led by corona pandemic. Especially for mothers, I must say that your responsibilities must have increased manifold with everyone at home. So while the lockdown continues, please bear with them and enjoy this togetherness, albeit a forced one. My name is Dr. Santosh and I am a pediatric surgeon by profession. I am working in Dehradun, and it's a real pleasure and honor to be here on this platform to share a few things with you all. And I'm really thankful to the Shilling Guides and their team and Ms. Sumata Jamal. Now, children, as you would all agree, are mischievous and carefree souls, and therefore it happens. I mean, they get injured at times, and so it is important for you to know what to do and how, when to seek medical advice, especially in current times when things are closed. Most of the things are closed, including transport. The hospitals are bulging at their seams to have more and more patients, and therefore you should know when to go to a hospital and when not to go to the hospital, because that may expose you and your children both to this real potential possibility of getting the corona infection. So I'll just brief you on a few common things that can happen and which you can tackle at home very well. Here I assume that few common things like a first aid box or some common medicines and other paraphernalia you must be having at home. Okay, so here it goes. The children can get injured by running around, by falling from some height. If it is small baby or toddler, an infant, he can roll over and fall from table or bed. So it is best to prevent those things, not leave them unattended on these surfaces. The bigger ones, the toddlers and kids, they run around and they can stumble and fall and get injured. So it is best to keep all those areas of hall and drawing dining room uncluttered, because there are a lot of things people keep these days. So keep the area clean. Balconies and terraces should have good height of railings and walls so that they don't lean over and fall and really have a risk of falling from a big height. Windows should have window guards installed so that children don't try to pass through and get stuck or injure themselves. While children are running and fall, and they can have cuts or abrasions or any part of the body, or they can get soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injury means the injury which is not visible from outside, but there is trauma to the muscles and other soft tissues. The burns are another thing that can happen to children. Burns means it can have a flame injury, it can have hot liquids, or rarely it can have steam. All these burn the skin and the other tissues. Best thing to do that you can do to avoid burns is to have a principle of NOKK, knock. Remember knock, NOKK. That means no kids in the kitchen. This should be your strategy. No matter what, kids should not come in the kitchen. Now, if they come and they suffer the burn injury, few things you can do to prevent those. Keep them away from the burners. Your utensils on the burner should have their handles inside. Otherwise, sometimes children, just out of curiosity, they raise their hands and catch hold of that handle or similar things and pull the utensil down and get burn injury. Flames, they can spill hot liquids onto them, so keep them away from the hot liquids, tea and milk and whatever. In any case, whatever the injury is, the best thing you can do is, again, to apply something cold onto that. You can put cold water, you can apply, best is to keep the water basically, and then you apply anything which is soothing. You can apply cold cream, again Vaseline, some दूध की मलाई लगा सकते हैं आप. And if it's a very large area, there are blisters will come. If it's flame injury, blisters will come immediately. So you can cover them with any clean and soft cloth after applying some lubricant thing on the area, as I told you in the cuts and abrasion and the soft tissue injury. Remember, however, that if the burn is on the face, in the hands, in the genitalia, or near a joint, I repeat, if it's in the face or hands, in the genitalia, or near a joint, you should seek medical advice as soon as possible, because these can have serious consequences which you may not pick up as a non-medical person. When the child gets injury of cuts, abrasions, or he falls, the worst thing that can happen is bleeding. Bleeding is a frightful sight for most. The biggest favor that you can do to your child is not to get panicky when he bleeds, because when you are panicky, child also gets panicky, very anxious. That increases the bleeding anyway because of various other things, including his blood pressure goes up. He may bleed more. So remember, triple P for any bleeding. Triple P for any bleeding. Play cool. Play cool. Press the area till it stops and pray. So play cool. Press the area either with your hand. Better is to take some soft clean cloth. Press it on the area which is bleeding. Keep it pressed for at least 7 to 8 minutes. Do not check in between whether the bleeding is stopped. Okay, bleeding usually takes 5 to 7 minutes to stop. Keep pressing it till it stops. Meanwhile, it may not be possible for you to keep pressing it for a long time. You can put something and tie a bandage around it so that there is enough pressure. It should not be very tight, it should not be very loose. You would know how much to press. You can tie a bandage, bleeding will stop, and pray. Meanwhile, you can contact your local doctor or pediatrician how to go about it. Okay. While we have discussed the cuts and abrasions and other things due to falls, you should also be careful that child is not sustained head injury. Now, head injury means some injury to the brain. This can happen when child is fallen while running around or something, or he falls from some height like table or bed. Any child can sustain head injury due to fall. Remember this. Now, how do you identify head injury? Child will be unconscious either temporarily or for a longer duration of time. So most of the times child falls, becomes unconscious for a moment, and he regains consciousness. But if he remains drowsy or if he becomes less alert after some time, it is important to notice that child may have vomitings, repeated vomitings, he may have bleeding from the ear, nose or mouth, he may throw convulsions, or in very severe cases you may notice there is some weakness in some part of the body, especially the limbs, upper or lower. In these situations, or you notice some boggy swelling on the head, which means there is some bleeding beneath the skin of the head. In all these situations, you should immediately seek medical advice because these are the signs of head injury. Drowning is another serious threat to the children, and drowning can happen anywhere where there is water. If you have the luxury of a swimming pool in your house, well, you have to be very careful. As much as you're proud of having a swimming pool, it is said that if a child goes missing in the house, the first thing to look is the bottom of the swimming pool, even if you are sure your child is in the bedroom, because every second is crucial. That does not mean that bathrooms are safe. No, they are not. It is said that small babies can drown in 2 inches of water. So never ever leave the children, small babies, infants, or any child unattended in a bathroom. They can drown in toilets, in the buckets, in the tubs, anywhere. So please be very careful. This is not the right place to tell you what to do when the child drowns, but you have to prevent it. In the worst scenario of drowning, you have to really be an expert in BLS, what we call basic life support, and only then you can help your child at home. Talked about suffocation. Now, I told you how suffocation can happen and how you can prevent it. But what if it really happens? Why I'm saying this is because suffocation is a real, real emergency. We don't have much time because the child is not breathing. What we can do is, of course here I cannot demonstrate how to do it, but I would suggest all of you to please watch this video on YouTube. You type Heimlich maneuver, Heimlich, Heimlich's maneuver. This is a maneuver which everyone should know, medical or non-medical, because this is a life-saving situation. If you are in any situation, whether we are talking of the kids here, but this can happen with adults also, and therefore you should be able to identify suffocation. Child is not any person, child or otherwise. So adult maybe probably can hint you what he is going through, but child cannot even do that. So you have to have a highness of suspicion. Suppose the child was having his meals and suddenly he becomes breathless, then the first thing you should think about is suffocation. Probably he has lodged a food bolus in his windpipe and not able to breathe. So please go to YouTube, type Heimlich maneuver, Heimlich, and watch the video how it is done, because it is absolutely life-saving. Thank you. Coming to another threat for children is poisoning. By poisoning I don't mean poisons in real sense, but a lot of chemicals we have in the home, in the bathroom, or for cleaning, and for any other purpose. There can be any chemical. There can be medicines. A lot of medicines are there in the home, and sometimes out of curiosity children can ingest those medicines or drink some liquids, overdose things, same as poisoning. So the best thing is to prevent poisoning, so that you don't have to face all those problems, and you can keep everything that can be poisonous, any chemical, any bleach, any floor cleaning liquids, they should all be away from children's reach. Most of the bottles now come in child-proof locks, child-proof bottles are there, but in any case all the medicine should be kept away from children. In the fridge also you should not keep anything other than eatables, so that no accident happens. Just remember, now luckily we don't have kerosene in houses, otherwise kerosene poisoning was very common once upon a time. Just remember that if you are sure that your child has not ingested any acid, acids are used for toilet cleaning by the way, or bleaches, maybe you can induce vomiting, although it is an expert's job. But if you're very sure, like he's ingested, suppose for example, if he's ingested some medicine overdose, so a lot of liquid he has ingested, he has just he drinks something, you can induce vomiting by gagging him, putting your fingers deep inside the throat, and he can vomit out. Otherwise, vomiting is not allowed, especially if some corrosive has been ingested. So you should take care, and if and once he has taken something by mistake or by accident, and if you go to the doctor, always carry or at least know what is ingested, so the doctor knows what to give, what antidote to use, or what precaution to take. So that is about the poisoning. Okay, so before I leave this platform and let you have a sigh of relief, let us discuss corona, because it would really be unfair to him if we don't discuss corona, and disgraceful. Okay, so I'm sure you must be worrying that when this lockdown thing is over, your child starts going to school, he should not catch infection. But let me assure you that he has a higher chance of getting infection from the family members and the parents rather than from the school, because in school he's going to spend only 4 to 6 hours, and I'm absolutely sure and certain that the school will be taking adequate precautions so that he doesn't catch infection. Right? So please take all the precautions that have been told to each one of us by the Ministry of Health and the government. We should follow those things. Regarding corona again, so there is good news and there is bad news. The good news is that because we are taking so many precautions, not going out, not eating out, staying social distancing and all those things, a lot of things are not happening which used to happen. So if you search the Google and just find out how many people die every day in road traffic accidents, this number is mind-boggling. All those things are not happening. A lot of disease is not happening because we are following so many precautions. So that is a good part that corona is indirectly doing for the humanity. Well, the bad news is that corona is going to stay with us. Yes, corona is going to stay, and therefore it is not a temporary thing that we have to do all these precautions, social distancing, use of mask, cleanliness, hygiene. So corona is here for something very good. If we want to see the big picture, it is a wonderful thing. It can be a wonderful thing for our kids because we have good reason to inculcate these habits, even if by default, to our children. So let them learn all these things which we are learning now for force. Let them learn by nature's design. And another thing is that another good news is that children are not very prone to getting corona infection. If at all they get, you may not even notice. They will get the infection and get over it without you even knowing. They don't develop if you read the studies, the morbidity and mortality is much less in children than in adults. So that is good news. So that's all from my side, and thank you very much for participating in this. I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to Shilling Guides and Ms. Sumaira Jamal for this wonderful e-camp, and I would really be glad to answer any of your queries if you have through the school. And bye for now. Take care. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I am Dr. Shiva Bansal. I am a practicing pathologist, and I'm very thankful to Shilling Heights who have provided us this platform so we can interact with each other and we can help you in any way we can. In Corona times, which is a difficult era, it's a new era for all of us. We have never been into such situation before. Everyone is very apprehensive, and children are very susceptible in a susceptible age group. So we are there to help you in any manner in which we can. So please stay at home, stay safe, stay connected. Thank you. Hi kids, today we are going to talk about burns. So let me ask, who all of you have got burned? Raise your hands. So when do we get burned? When we touch a hot object. So don't panic at that time. Whenever you got burned, you have to put your body part which has got burned underwater, under tap water for 15 to 20 minutes, even if you don't feel the pain or sensation of burn. And then call any of your elders at home and put antiseptic solution, clean the area, put antiseptic solution over that area, and you are ready to go. So we don't have to panic when we got burned. We have to deal with the situation bravely. Bye.
Good morning, dear parents. I am grateful to Sumera ma'am and the school administration for this opportunity. Being a parent myself, I know how difficult it seems for us to get our children to good eating and sleeping habits. It seems difficult, but it's not all that difficult. तो मैं आज आप सभी से हेल्दी ईटिंग और हेल्दी स्लीपिंग हैबिट्स के बारे में बात करूंगी और मैं ये भी कहना चाहूँगी कि हालांकि आज कोरोना के दौर में हम सब आपसे डिजिटल माध्यम से रूबरू हो रहे हैं, फिर भी मैं एक और चीज़ पर बात करना चाहूँगी कि कैसे बच्चों को डिजिटल गैजेट्स जैसे कि मोबाइल, आईपैड और लैपटॉप से दूर रखें. So let's first talk about a healthy eating habits. Why are we turning towards junk food? हम लोग जंक फूड की तरफ क्यों जा रहे हैं? I think peer pressure and TV ads for junk food makes getting your child eat healthy an uphill struggle. ये एक पहाड़ पर चढ़ने जैसा काम है और दोनों पेरेंट्स आजकल बिजी हैं. They are working, so we are easily turning towards junk food. But we must remind ourselves what are the advantages of healthy eating. It not only helps in normal growth and development of your child, but it also influences their mental and emotional well-being. I say so because cooking a meal at home, involving children and your spouses too, and eating the meal together will not only cause family bonding, but it also gives strength to your family and child feels very secure in such a family. It therefore decreases the future occurrences of anxiety, depression, fear related problems and psychobehavioral problems that as a pediatrician I am witnessing so very much. One has to believe in this, that the chaos in our society can be overcome with this simple exercise of making your child eat healthy. So how do we get them to eat healthy? Let us develop that belief in ourselves that even now at this time we can do it, so let's not give up. Number 2, let's be a role model. अगर हम खुद ही गलत सलत तरीके से खाएं, गलत सलत चीज़ें खाएं, तो हम अपने बच्चों से क्या उम्मीद रख सकते हैं? Cook more meals at home. I'm sure in Corona lockdown we have all realized that we can do it. Get innovative ideas. Get your kids to going for shopping, groceries, cooking meals, etc. This definitely makes them more interested in home cooked foods. And मैं एक चीज़ बहुत ही ज़ोर दे के कहना चाहती हूँ, let's limit the portion of the meal. हम माएँ जितना परोसती हैं हम चाहते हैं कि बच्चा उसको चट कर जाए, ये एक बहुत ही गलत आदत है. So let us remember that no one was born with craving for junk foods. We are the ones to introduce them to our children. As a pediatrician मैंने विटनेस किया है कि माँ दूध की बोतल में कोल्ड ड्रिंक पिला रही है, प्यारी प्यार में हम छोटे से बच्चे को आइसक्रीम चटा रहे हैं, एक दूध मुँहे बच्चे को रेस्टोरेंट में जाके हम पिज़्ज़ा और बर्गर का स्वाद दे रहे हैं. चलिए आज हम दादा दादी नाना नानी के दौर में जाने का प्रयास करें. पुअर स्लीपिंग हैबिट्स इट्स येट अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट आई वांट टू डिस्कस. आज के दौर में कम नींद भी चिड़चिड़ेपन का, दिन में नींद का आना, आलस्य का, इमोशनल रेज, ब्रेकडाउन, पुअर कंसंट्रेशन व अन्य लाइफस्टाइल डिजीज़ेस जो कि बाद में उम्र के दौर में देखने को मिलती है, जैसे कि हमने सुना है यंग डायबिटिक, यंग हाइपरटेंसिव, यंग हार्ट अटैक, ये सब पुअर स्लीप के वजह से भी होता है. इसलिए आइए अभी से बच्चों में अर्ली टू बेड अर्ली टू राइज की आदत डालने का प्रयास करें। इसके लिए हैव अ फिक्स टाइम टू स्लीप एंड वेक अप। इसको सारा परिवार फॉलो करेगा, ना केवल बच्चा फॉलो करेगा। कई परिवार में पिता देरी से ऑफिस से या दुकानों से आते हैं, फिर भी उन्हें दिन में मिलने का समय तय करना चाहिए और स्लीपिंग हाइजीन को मेंटेन करने में मदद करनी चाहिए। भरपेट खाना अच्छी नींद का कारण होता है। मैंने कहा भरपेट, ना कि ओवर फीडिंग। सो लेट्स अवॉइड ओवर फीडिंग एंड येट फिल देयर स्टमक इनफ टू मेक देम स्लीप वेल। अवॉइड स्क्रीन टाइम, दैट इज़ मोबाइल, टीवी, आईपैड, ये सोने के पहले देखना अवॉइड करना चाहिए। लेट अस गेट बैक टू बेड टाइम स्टोरीज। हो सके तो डे टाइम स्लीप भी अवॉइड करें। अगर बच्चा नहीं मानता तो 20 या 30 मिनट से ज़्यादा सोने ना दें। मुझे पता है माँओं के लिए जगते हुए बच्चे किसी शैतान से कम नहीं होते, मगर उनके भविष्य को देखते हुए हमें ये करना चाहिए। अंत में मैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गैजेट्स की आदत कैसे छुड़ाएं, इस बारे में बात करना चाहूँगी। इस आदत की वजह से प्रायः देखा गया है कि 1 out of 10 children are affected mentally and physically. It also prevents children from physical activity and learning from environment. Early exposure is killing their childhood and their innocence. It is increasing anxiety and mood swings. And of course, radiation is damaging their eyes and brains. तो कैसे मदद करें? Be a role model yourself. अगर हम ही दिन भर गैजेट पे लगे रहेंगे तो हम बच्चों से क्या उम्मीद करेंगे? अचानक आदत ना छोड़ाएं। बच्चों को खुद से जोड़ें, दादा दादी, नाना नानी से जोड़ें और अपने आसपास के नेबर्स के बच्चों के साथ खेलने भेजें। आई गारंटी यू, और ये मैंने खुद अपने घर में देखा है कि अगर बच्चा बिज़ी है तो उसे किसी मोबाइल, किसी टीवी, किसी आईपैड की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है। तो आज के लिए इतना ही। मुझे लगता ही नहीं मगर विश्वास है कि हमारे बच्चे ही हमारे देश की धरोहर है और उनको सुदृढ़ बनाना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। सो हाउ कैन वी डू इट? बाय मेकिंग देम ईट हेल्दी, by making them sleep early and to expose them to more of physical activity. Thank you.